Welcome back, students who are taking Math for Business and Finance Math Applications. And we're continuing on here with the Chapter 16 Summary Practice Test, and we finally completed question number 1. So let's move on to number 2. Right. It says here, complete the following partial comparative balance sheet by filling in the total current assets and percent column. Assume no plant and equipment. We're going to round to the nearest hundredth of a percent. So in order to be able to do a comparative analysis, yes, we have to have some kind of a base, and our base is going to be our total current assets. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at 14, and, 9,000, 5,000, 12, and 7. So that's 14, 16, 23, 2, that's 33,000. And this is, let's see, there's 0, 0, 4, 5 and 9 is 14, count my 1, that's 9, and 13 is 22, and 8 is 30,400. Okay. Now remember that if this is going to be our base, then this should be 100%. Now you may end up having issues with rounding, okay, so it doesn't necessarily have to come out exactly to that amount. Actually, in doing the math, now I know that's 100%, so I just wrote in 100%. But if you're doing the math, and the reason why I'm talking about rounding is because we see here the asterisk says due to rounding. Well, if I actually did this when I figure out my percentages here, okay, and I add them all up, it's not going to come out to exactly 100%. It's going to be slightly off, okay? And the same over here. And how are we figuring out our percents? Well, we're taking our 9,000 and we're dividing it by the 33,000, okay? And when we do that, and again, this is all this repetitive math, we end up with 0.272727. So when I round it to the hundredth of a percent, 1, 2, I get 27.27, and the 2 means a round down, so I end up with 27.27%. Okay. Now notice that that's a repeating number, and because of issues like that, that's why you're going to have rounding. Okay. But notice here that what's the process? Okay. And if I understand this process, then all I'm left with is just doing it again and again and again, crunching the math, all right, doing the numbers, right? What I'm doing is I want to find out what percent this is, so I take whatever whatever number I'm looking for, and I'm dividing it by my total current assets. So in order to find my accounts receivable, I take 5,000 and I divide that by 33. So 5 divided by 33 is 0.151515. Okay, 2 places over, 15.15, and the 1 means I'm rounding down, so 15.15%. And again, so it's just, again, this math. Let's see, 12,000 divided by 33. 12 divided by 33 gives me 0.363636. So 1, 2, 36.36. Again, I'm rounding down because of the 3. 36.36. And 7,000 divided by 33. 0.212121, round down, 21.21, round down because of the 2, so 21.21. Now, here's what I mean by the rounding aspect of it. If I'm going to add up 27.27 plus 15.15 plus 3636 plus 2121, you actually end up with 99.99%. Okay, and that's due to the rounding aspect of it. So yeah, I could, I should put 99.99% here. Okay, I should put that right here. Okay, but we know that, it's our basis, so it should equal 100%, and I can write the 100% there. And the same with over here. Now, I'm not going to go and do all of the math here. I mean, you just saw me do it in this column, so you can do the math for yourself, but realize that you're going to end up with 26.32, 24.67, 2270, and 2636. And if you add all of those up, you actually end up with 101.01. Okay, so again, rounding issue. All right, and all you do is just write in the 100%. All right. So the thought just occurred to me. And let me just back up 1 second here. When we are working this here, we're taking the 8,000 here, and we're not dividing by this. We're not dividing by this 33. We're dividing by the 30,400. Okay, and that's what's going to give us our 26.32%. Just in case I didn't make that clear in my explanation of it. So you'll divide all of these numbers, all of the, these figures here by this 30,400 in order to get these percentages. Okay, and you've created yourself a comparative balance sheet. Next problem. Calculate the amount of increases or decreases and the percent change of each item, round to the nearest 100th percent as needed. So you're basically, if you're, think about this, what is this? Is this a vertical analysis or a horizontal analysis? This is a horizontal analysis. Remember that the previous question was a comparative, it was a comparative balance sheet, but it was a vertical analysis. So if you work through that one, notice the differences here when you're working through these. Okay, we're not going up and down here. We're not totaling this up and then dividing each number by that amount. What we're going to do is we're going to work across. We're going to work across the data. So I'm going to look for the difference in the amount. So 8,000, from 19,000 means we have $11,000 is the amount, and I divide. Since we're going from the past to the future, we're going to be using the 2014 figures as our base. So I have 11,000, and I'm dividing it by 8,000, and that will give me 137.5%. Actually, it gives me 1.3750, and I just made it a percent. So 137.50 as a percent. Okay. And we do the other two the exact same way. We'll take 70,000 less 31,000, which gives me 39,000. Oops, that's not 31,000, sorry. As I glance back in the book, this should be 30,000 here. Okay, so that's 40,000 is the difference. If I take 40,000 and divide it by the 30,000, I end up with 0.1333, and oops, not 0. Made a mistake. Can't be 0 because 30 is less than the 40,000, so it's 1.33333. Move my decimal, 133.33. Okay, 133.33%. Okay, and lastly here, we have 21,000 from 10,000 minus 10,000, which means I have 11,000 again. So 11,000 divided by 10,000, and that's easy. That's 110%. Okay. All right, so let's see, that's 3. All right, so I'm going to stop here and pick up with number 4 in the next video.